Hey everyone, today I'm just working on some turkey stuff, so I'm just going to show you guys a clip here of what they look like now. What they changed a little bit since the last time I did an update. Um, but one of the things I find difficult in Ontario for turkeys is getting weights on before Thanksgiving, because our Thanksgiving is earlier than the American Thanksgiving. So I have a lot shorter window from when it's cold, because you can't start turkeys in the very cold unless you have very good barns, in which case your margins are too thin because you've invested all your money in barns. So it's a very difficult thing to get turkeys to put on enough weight for Thanksgiving because it's a short window. And also at the processing plant, they charge me extra money the second it's over 20 pounds. So it isn't really a good thing sometimes. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're injecting water at the stores so that they're getting the weights they are, because there is no way that I could make a 30-pound bird unless I injected water into the meat, and the meat doesn't stick to the bone as close as a bird like one of my birds does. It doesn't. I don't know how to really describe it. It feels more like jello-y than the meat that I have when I have a bird that's finished. So that's what I've really noticed. But what I'm working on today is how I kind of process them to or bring them to the processing plant. It's easier. So in the chicken industry, they have these plastic crates that are pretty much everywhere. You can buy them. But the issue is with turkeys is they're too tall for these. So they will not fit inside these chicken crates. So you have to make something like that, mind the weeds, or like that. One of the things that ends up happening here is there isn't really an easy way to make a turkey crate. You just kind of got to make one. And I have this chicken wire on the top, and it did all right. But the problem is it doesn't really work well as a lid. I can tie it with string, as you can see, but I'd like to make a lid. So I got some hinges today, and that's what I'm gonna kind of work on and dig one of these things out and see if I can make a lid. That way, at least it's a little easier, especially if you have one person to put them in, because a lot of the times what happens is I gotta process them. I keep using the word process. I have to basically get them ready for the processing plant in the middle of the night, and then drive a good distance to get them to the processing plant. So it ends up being that I'm usually doing it in the dark, in pitch black, by myself. So you have to kind of set it up so that it's at least easy to do it, or easier. So that's why I'm kind of putting a lid on it today. I don't know if I'm going to be doing turkeys next year, only because I find that because of the way the stores have done it with the water, a lot of people have an unrealistic expectation of what a natural bird is. They want it to be 50 pounds like the store, and for you to be able to sell it at $1.50 a pound. And with the cost of feed, you cannot do that in that way. It's not possible. I know what it cost me to make it, and I'm not making a killing on it. And I live in a pretty uppity area, but it's still hard. It's a tough sale because people don't really think that far ahead. They kind of think 5 minutes ahead. So them putting a deposit on a bird for a healthier bird, they don't really see the benefit until they've bought one. So I find that they have to buy them once before they're going to buy them multiple times. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. So So actually, yeah, so that's what I'm working on today, guys. I'll bring you guys along and I'll show you as I go along. I can't really film doing it only because it's difficult because I don't really have a mount for my phone. But if I can get a mount or figure out a mount, I'm gonna have to plan this one out. Do something like what some of the other guys have done to figure out a mount. Then I can kind of show you guys as I'm doing things. But right now it's a little difficult, but I'll just do it through the process and then you guys can see what I'm doing. So originally I was going to do like a wood kind of plywood top, but I found this old tin that came off that old barn, and this is kind of what I came up with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bungee across the center here, so when the day comes I have to load up, I can do it by myself, and the weight of this door kind of shuts, and it just makes it so that they're not going to really push it. Especially being it's not see-through. So I'll cut off the sides here to make it look a little half better. But yeah, the way I looked at it, the less I had to cut, the better. Just because it just doesn't seem like much, but amazing how those little finicky stuff adds up. Just kind of adds up in jobs. But I guess I might as well show you guys the chickens too. I know it's silly, but you see how clean they are on their bottom of their stomachs? That kind of gives you an idea of how well someone's managing or taking care of their birds. If they're white-chested, if they're dirty on their stomachs, they're sitting in manure and someone's not taking care of them. So clean white birds, you'll never see it unless you buy them live, but it's kind of something I kind of take pride. Right, like even on the turkeys, I try my best to make sure they're clean white stomached. It's just something where you can kind of tell yourself and show yourself that you're running something clean and effective. It's a sign of clean birds. It's a sign of less issues with disease because they're not sitting on manure. They have something between them, whether it's straw, whether it's shavings, whether it's whatever. But yeah, that's kind of what I was working on today. So I got that done. I was about to go sift through manure, which will probably be my next video. Sift through manure with the forks and try and take out any old strings. One of the things I ended up doing is when I was younger, we kind of got lazy when it was cold and we didn't really cut the strings off enough, and they're a bugger when they go through a manure spreader, so we didn't really think of it at the time, or we didn't really plan that far, and now I kind of pay the price, but it doesn't matter. I'll sift through it. That manure pile the cattle are sitting on right now is where most of it is. If I can sift through that, then a lot of the strings will be out, and then I won't destroy a manure spreader. So that's kind of the plan for tomorrow. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe as always. Take care, keep farming, keep having fun. Thanks for stopping by.